Hello, it's Ashley from One Stitch After Another, and I am so excited to share with you my recent woolly retreat. And if you want to know what I purchased and what my yarn is like, stay tuned. But first, so when I was at the retreat, I think it was somebody like Zelly said, it always looks so tidy when you film. And I said, you should see what's on the floor. And they said, oh, yes, please. So I'm going to show you what is on my floor. So this counter here is part of my backdrop for today's video. And this is my desk where I do my paper crafting and I film top down stuff. And because I want my counter to look clean, everything just goes on the floor. So the cat's here having a good old sniff. And yeah, she's licking her paws. That little bit of wool there is one of her favourite toys at the moment. So that's on the floor. I've got paper crafting stuff. This is a project I'm working on. Some cookery magazines I'm looking through for ideas. This is an art piece that I've been working on that's rubbish. If you want to go over to my other channel, Paper and Twine, there's going to be a Wing It Wednesday video going up today if it isn't already, showing how I made that monstrosity. So yes, this is my floor. So everything behind me looks really nice, but really it is not. So that's just an illustration really to show you that those of us that do film and put our lives out there, show you what we want you to see. And yes, I can assure you that my room is never really tidy. It's a working room, you know, and you can't be tidy and craft and do stuff. So I'm going to show you something. This lusciousness is the bouquet that we got at the first woolly retreat in October. Which colour do you think's mine? Stay tuned. Let's put on now a little bit of footage, and I'm sorry if this video is a bit rambling. Let's put on footage of that weekend now. Morning, it is Sunday, October the 5th. I can't believe it. I haven't really filmed anything on the yarn retreat yet. Suffice to say, Lou and I are with the most amazing bunch of wonderful human beings, like-minded. Just, yeah, we've had the most amazing time. Been too busy to pick up the camera, but I thought just while Lou's in the shower and before we go off for our last session, I'll give you a quick squiz round the downstairs of our cottage. This is Duckling Cottage, which is part of the Puddle Duck Cottages range. I will leave a link in the description box for you. We've had a lovely time here. It's just such a cute little cottage for two people. I mean, two couples could be quite cosy here. It is a small cottage. Idyllic. I would just say the first night I didn't sleep. I was very, 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 very hot. It's very still and quiet here. You are in the middle of the gorge. And excitingly, I heard owls. Oh, I can't tell you how much joy that brought to my heart. Can you see the view out there? I'll swish you over in a minute. It's just, yeah, we're just grinning from ear to ear. I did get a little bit of footage yesterday of me dyeing my yarn. So maybe I'll insert that here. I'll insert that here because this video is going to be all over the place anyway.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll just take a moment at this point to say I was absolutely over the moon. This has never happened to me before. On the Friday night when we were at the Half Moon pub waiting for the knit night, Lou and I were at the bar, and there was a lady there on her own, and we said, "Are you here for the knitting retreat?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Hi, I'm Ashley." And she said, "Yes, I know, I watch you." I've never had that happen before. I cannot tell you how giddy it made me. So Naomi, thank you so much. You really made my day. And there's a couple of ladies also there who met me last year who also watched. Zelly, hello. Claire, hello. Who else is there? Jackie was there. Paula was there. Mandy. They were all with me last year on my first event. They're all seasoned yarn dyers now. But we had such fun dyeing our yarn yesterday, and it's just going to be magical when we pick our yarn up today. So I'll film a little bit of that perhaps when people are receiving their yarn. But no, I wanted to respect people's privacy really, and not be intruding in the with the camera, and also just have fun myself. And Megan, Kelly and Nick's daughter, was expertly guiding us through how to dye our skeins yesterday. She's taken over a lot of the dyeing from Nick, I believe. We had cuddles with Jeff, who was really well behaved. Anyway, enough of that nonsense, Ashley. I'm just so excited, I cannot tell you. I'm going to turn you over and show you the cottage and the view out of this window. This is the view out of the bottom window, if you like. Look at this little cute bird feeder. Isn't that a lovely idea? And everywhere there are references to ducks, as you might know, with this being puddle duck cottages and this duckling cottage. Lovely little bird books here and binoculars in case you want to have a look out of the window and do some bird spotting. You would never ever get tired of that view, would you? I'm loving all of the original artwork that is around the place, and it's giving me kind of, sorry about the reflection, it's giving me kind of, I don't know, it's encouraging me to have a go more with my painting, my dabblings in painting. And I'm going to take some photographs later of some of these pictures, because it might add, give me inspiration for picking up the brushes and the paints. You see, I might, with a little bit of practice, be able to achieve something like that. And this. But here, look, if I squish you around, this is the kitchen area. So Sonia met us, she's a lovely lady. This place is dog friendly. They own dogs. They've got a beagle called Bertie. And there's dog references as well as duck references everywhere. And here is another view. There's 2 more windows on the side of this property, a stable door. Look at that apple tree. It's just such a glorious day today. On Friday, it rained all day. It was not fun. And then outside here, it's a little terraced garden. So you can go there with your Prosecco. And we do actually have in the fridge, which is behind this cupboard here, we do have a bottle of Prosecco that was gifted to us by the owner. They provided milk, eggs, butter for breakfast. So Lou's had some toast. We have some cake as well that we haven't cracked into yet. So you can see you've got a nice little dining area here. Snug for 4 people, ample for 2. And now I'll give you a squiz of the living room. You can see that the stairs go up from the living room. And I'll take you to my bedroom. So this is where I've been sleeping the last 2 nights. We've got another night here tonight. More lovely artwork. And the whole cottage is decorated very tastefully. I bagsied the room with the ensuite. I won't put the light on because the fan makes a lot of noise. This shower sadly isn't working, and the owner was really apologetic. It just gave up the ghost on Friday, but she did offer us the cottage next door. But we said, no, it's fine. There's a shower in the bathroom over the bath. And then I've got the same view out of my bedroom window as we got out of the living room. Look at all that. Imagine living here. Wouldn't it be divine? More paintings. It's not very good light there, but just little touches everywhere like this. This has got a little night light in it. Oh, and this is really useful. I've never seen this before. In a lot of the lights, there are these battery torches in the plug socket that light up, and they give a little night light at night, but if you have a power cut, you know where it is and you can just grab it, which is really good. And then the bathroom, lovely bathroom, ample bath, shower. Yes. So I've been very good on the yarn purchases so far. I've only put one sock set by in my bag. I've got FOMO. Dee, if you're watching, there was a little bargain basket and Dee grabbed a skein just slightly before me that was beautiful seaside colours like pale blues, sands and cream. And of course there was only one, wasn't there? And I kept following around hoping she'd put it back in the basket, but no, it's firmly in her bag. Maybe I should have used that kind of colour combo as my inspiration. But what I'm looking for today to add to my ample yarn collection, I've had it in my favourites for a very long time to do the Sophie shawl. I don't want to do the scarf because I don't like things really tight around my neck. I like, big things that wrap. And yes, I'm going to get some DK from Kelly. I've made a note. I think I need 3 skeins will do it. And I don't really mind what colour I do it in, as long as it's kind of like a neutral colour, I guess. And I really want to do a cardigan, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get enough yarn from Kelly to do that. I want to do something a little bit like the champagne cardigan or something like that that's a boxy, lots of positive ease cardigan, but with little patch pockets and big chunky buttons. And I want it to go with the trousers that I'm wearing. I can't really show you the trousers I'm wearing, but the trousers are, can you see that kind of ochre colour in the bottom left of that painting? That's the kind of colour my trousers are that I'm wearing. And I'd like to do a cardigan to go with those. And I don't mind what colour it is. It doesn't have to be a neutral. I've also found a lovely pattern, which I'll share in another podcast, that's Aran weight. And Kelly doesn't quite go that kind of heavy with her yarn. So yes, if I can find, I don't mind holding DK and floof together to get like more of an Aran weight. Would that be Aran? I'm hopeless with weights. But yes, it's just a case of seeing what's there when we get there. I'll just flip you over and show you what I'm working on currently. Here are my project bags. I'm going to take my stripy sweater with me today, and I started a sock yesterday. I won't get it out, I'll show it in another time. I did start my barnacle wrap, but it's quite complicated geometrically. The pieces themselves are dead easy, but you have to concentrate where you're picking up the next piece from, if that makes sense. So I've done 3 blocks, but I'm not quite sure how to do block 4. So I'm not going to bother showing you that. But yeah, I've got my stripy sweater in the Bird Street Yarns project bag, which you've seen. I'm not going to get that out, but I did start yesterday my Pip sock. And that is coming up really nicely. And sorry, it's not focusing. So I'm going to take that with me and my stripy sweater today. And that is it. Time for a slurp of tea. Lou and I have planned, because a lot of people are going home today, because obviously they've got work tomorrow. I don't work Mondays and Lou's booked today's holiday. So we've got a little plan. We're going to eat at the Half Moon about 6. Then there's a pub just a few metres along, about halfway between the Half Moon pub and where we are staying, called The Boat. We're going to go in there for a snifter after our dinner, and then we're going to come back, find a movie to watch. We've got a bottle of Prosecco in the fridge. We're going to crack that open and do some knitting on the sofa. And yeah, whether we go anywhere this afternoon or not, I don't know. We'll see. Might just chill. Anyway, I might do a little bit more. Yes, I'll do a little bit more footage of when we get our yarn. This is very rambly. I'm really sorry. I'm not a very professional podcaster or content creator. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, it's just me and a phone rambling on. What you see is what you get.
find was everything that I remember from last year and more. And I have to say that the colours in here go better, I think, than the colours we did last year. Somebody said maybe it's because we're all getting a little bit better at dyeing yarn. It was only my second time, and some people have done it 3 or 4 times now. Obviously it was Lou's first time. She won the prize for the best yarn, or the yarn that they liked the most. So she got beautiful colourways. I've still got mine from last year. I haven't used them. Hers were really, the test yarns were just harmonious, whereas the ones that I had last year, they were all very different. And Kelly is going to try and find a pattern for us all to knit something, because a lot of us said we'd like to go again next year, if I haven't said that already. Goodness me, with having the internet gone for the best part of a week, I tell you, I'm still all over the place, really can't even say the word, really discombobulated. Anyway, yes, on the Sunday after we'd done the receiving of the yarn, Lou and I went back to the cottage, did a bit of knitting, and then we went for dinner at 6 o'clock, had a lovely Sunday dinner at the Half Moon pub. We booked a table, and then we went for a snifter in the boat. Oh my God, we had such a good time. There was a load of people in there who'd already had a few sherbets, and were having a whale of a time dancing. There were 2 DJs there playing mod music, 80s music mostly, but real classics from my kind of childhood. And everybody was up on the floor dancing, and only really a small pub. And they were going, come on, get up and dance. So we did, and we had a whale of a time, and they made us feel really welcome. But then we went back to the cottage, and we watched. Rob Brydon actually has got a TV programme on BBC Two, and later with Jules Holland, and did some knitting. And if you still want to see what my colourway yarn was and what I've bought, you need to continue to stay tuned, or fast forward a bit, I really don't mind. But yes, then on the Monday we went to Ironbridge. I've got a little bit of footage of that. So Ironbridge is such a pretty little place, beautiful cottages. I would love to live there. Beautiful sunny day, and if you've never been, I do urge you to go. The cat is making a noise, I am sorry. Anyway, back on to knitting things. Did you guess the projects that I took with me? I did take my pattern for the Musselburgh hat, but I left the yarn at home, so that I couldn't crack on with that. I did take Amelia the duck to do, but I didn't do anything with her, and I left her at the cottage. I have since done half of the body, and I've done the head. Not sure which is the cast. I think that's the cast on. Yeah. So yeah, that's the duck head. Looks a little bit like a, don't know, some kind of surgical appliance. And then the pins are where I've got to put the beak on when I've done the beak. But I'm not going to bother showing you the body. I've done half the body. So I took her, but didn't do her. I did take my barnacle wrap, which is a free pattern. There's a picture of it. I got it in the Knitter magazine. I think it was the Knitter, yes, issue 54, if you're interested. But it is a free pattern on Ravelry. Just trying to see if I can see whose designed it. Layla Shalachi, if I pronounce that right. Anyway, I had started it, but I didn't like the fabric. So that was what I'd started. I'm keeping it in case I need to unwind. Yes, it was too drapey. It's garter stitch, and I did 3 blocks, but you have to really concentrate where you're picking up from. So I've done a complete barnacle. It's really satisfying to do, actually. And then I've got to pick up stitches, I think, along, if I do that, along these 2 edges here for block 4, and then that will form another barnacle. So it's not just an easy modular piece. You do have to concentrate on it. So I didn't get beyond that. I think I'm going to set myself a challenge. I've got to do an hour a day on Christmas knitting because I'm feeling twitchy about that. And I have already done a kind of get out with the people that I've said I'll knit for, that I will only do the children's toys. I've done my niece Rachel's toy, but if I haven't got my niece Rebecca's toy, then Rachel won't get hers because I want them to have theirs at the same time. So I've done Harry the Ram, but he's nude. I took Dorothy the mouse to morning knitting this morning, and the ladies there were very pleased to see her. And I said, I've got Harry the Ram, but he's got no clothes and he didn't want to come out in public in the noddy. So they laughed at that. So yeah, he just needs his outfit. I've started the duck for Thea, my great niece, and then I've got to do the hedgehog for, is it Heidi? Not sure. I've got to do the hedgehog, and that's a tricky one. It's lots of bubbles like the ram, but colour work as well as bubbles. So I'm putting off that. Yes. So, yeah, but I'm thinking if I commit to an hour a day on my Christmas knitting and 20 minutes on this, I think once I get to understanding where I've got to pick stitches up from, when I've done a certain amount, I think it's quite repetitive. So, yeah, but it's coming together really nicely, and I do like the fabric. And I think once I start getting the other colours involved, that will be really nice. There's a lot to do on that. So you can go back in here. Then I took my stripy sweater. I'll insert a bit here of some footage explaining. Just wanted to show you, I was knitting in the dark last night. I had a bit of a mishap. But looking at this in retrospect now, I have got quite a lot under the arm, and I want this to be quite short. So I'm actually going to rip back to about here, which might address a hole that I've got going on somewhere else as well. It's not the best knit. Look here, look, see. I've got a hole there. Yes, but I don't want this to be too long, and I've only got about 3 more colours that I want to put in before I do the rib. So I think I'm going to pull right back to here and do 4 rows of the colour, 4 rows of the main, 4 rows of the colour, 4 rows of the main. I've decided that these 2 colours don't go. This is one that I bought at the retreat, and that's going to do the cuffs and the hem, the corrugated rib. And I've just got these 3 left, and they're going to go in that order. Or do you know, I might even take this one back, take that one out. I mean, it's quite nice because it's got red, which will pick up on that. And this will pick up on the oranges and browns that are in the colour that I'm currently doing. This is just going to look delicious with the grey. You can see that there. So this stitch marker here, it's Little Bunny from Elderflower Stitches, is where I pulled back to. And look, this is the centre back. I'm hoping that that'll look neater when it's blocked. Yeah, it's just where I've joined in the round, and the tension's not very good there. But I think I explained in those little clips there that I pulled back because I'd got too much grey and the depth of the sweater was going to be too long, and I really want this to be quite cropped. So I pulled back for that reason. This is the front. and you can see that I've made good progress with that now. So I've got some aggressive striping going on here. I was in two minds as to whether to do this colour, but I have, because I think, well, it just adds a pop of colour, and there's a little bit of pink in this stripe here. So I've got to introduce my next colour now, which is this beautiful red, and that's going to be the last stripe. Going to do 4 more rounds of the grey, and then I'm going to stripe, do my corrugated rib with this blue and the grey, which I think will look really nice together. I've got to get online when I've got off here and order myself some 3mm sock pins, like the shorties, because yes, to do the sleeves. So I've made good progress on that. We went to Leeds at the weekend. We saw John Bishop. It was our Christmas present off the kids, and he was amazing. He's 60 next year, and it was a really good show. And hubby drove. Just looking to see if I can find my markers. Yes, so there and back, which is about 4 hours, I did between those 2 markers. And then that's what I've done since I've come home. And I can do it around quite quickly. And I'm glad that I pulled back when I did, because I've got a little hole. And I mean, nobody probably would have noticed, but I would have noticed. And I think it's just looking really nice with the knitting for Olive. So I reckon next week, if my needles come, I reckon I'll be on the sleeves. And the plan is that as I go down the sleeve, I'm going to match up the colour stripe on each sleeve. Obviously the sleeves are longer, so I'll have a bit more grey than at the bottom. But yeah, I quite like that, and I think it's quite a good way of using up the minis. And I probably will have a little bit left of each one, and I think I'm going to start the Memories blanket, which is mitered squares, because I've got tons and tons and tons, and the colours aren't quite right to go into my northeasterly blanket, which has been on hold for the longest time. So yes, there was that. And then the final thing that I worked on while I was there, and I've done loads since I came home, is the Pip Pip, which is a sock by the Knitting Shed. There it is, and I'm absolutely loving it, to be honest with you. I haven't done it right. There are some mistakes. I think my pips should be offset, and some of them are and some of them aren't. But you can see I'm just finished the gusset now, and I'm going to do the foot of this. But really nice. That's not the best bit to show you at the join. Really, really satisfying to do the pip, and it's just slipped stitches, mosaic work. Yes, so I think I've just decreased enough on the gusset now, and I've got the right stitch count to be going round and round until I do the toe. And yeah, then crack on with sock 2. The heels, really, I'm not sure about the heel design. I've done it because it's a design, but I don't know. I think I would have just liked it on the leg and the toe. So that's whips and what have you. Now, there may have been purchases. Let's have a cup of tea. I'm holding off showing you which is my colourway. Those of you that were there who may be watching, you know which one was mine, or might be able to remember which one was mine, but here is everybody else's. Beautiful colourways. But there may have been purchases, and I have got a sweater's quantity just about of this colourway. Zelly said that green was my colour. She loved the gridline sweater that I was wearing at the weekend, which was in the Wonderland Walk colourway by Ali, Little Drops of Wonderful. And I wanted to do a cardigan, and the colours I picked up, there's a lovely colour called Foxtail. She went, no, not with your florid complexion. Well, she didn't say florid, but I've got a florid complexion. Go with greens. Actually, I've just noticed that this has got really lovely tinges in it. So this is kind of a solid, semi-solid. No, it is solid. This is pine needles. And I've got floof in pine needles as well, but there's a bit more variation in that. I'm going to hold those double, and I'd like to do a boxy cropped cardigan, v-neck cardigan with big chunky buttons. If anybody can suggest any patterns at a DK weight, I've got 1,275 meters and about a 40-inch chest. So, and yeah, boxy, lots of positive ease, yeah, cropped with patch pockets. Yes, so I really like that. Got quite a lot of green actually. I've got an acid green cardigan. I think it's the Audrey cardigan. Might be by Isabel Kramer, I'm not sure. And my dad hates it when I wear that, but I quite like it, and it's a big chunky cardigan. I did it in an American yarn, can't remember. Anyway, I got that. Then I got 3 skeins of this. This is cacao. This is super yak, which is silky yak rather. 20% yak, 20% silk, 60% superwash merino in the colourway cacao. And I'm going to do the Sophie shawl with this. It's DK weight. I might do it on a slightly smaller needle than the pattern suggests. I haven't actually purchased the pattern yet, but that is going to be a video coming up, a video series on my progress on the Sophie shawl viral pattern. I'm sure you all know it. The lovely Naomi, who was sat next to me, was working on it, and she was using a Serdar yarn. I think it got some cashmere in it, and she got a really lovely bouncy garter stitch going on there. So yes, look out for the series on my Sophie shawl. See, I want to crack on with this. I really want to crack on with this, but I know I've got to cast on hubby's hat, and I've got to crack on with Christmas knitting. See, I've set myself up to fail, haven't I? So yes, I've got 3 skeins of this because I want to do the large. I know that lots of people have done the Sophie scarf. God, I've been yakking on for ages. I'm sorry. I know lots of people have done the Sophie scarf, but I don't like things really tight around my neck. So yes, that's that. Oh, I'm so excited. Then I had a forage in the bargain basket, and I got this little sock set. So I presume it's 100 gram and a 20 gram mini. It's called the Secret Garden, and it did give me spring flower vibes. And I think I'm going to do some kind of wrap with this, with maybe this at the edge, some kind of edge, because there's that colour in there. Love that colourway. Don't know whether it does anything for me. Do you know, I've never really been one for like kind of looking at whether colours suit me or not. But anyway, I can't hold off any longer, can I? Oh yes, I can. So I got for my little cardigan, for my stripy sweater rather. These are the pick and mixes, £2.50, really good value. These are the 10 gram minis. Can't think what I was going to say. I really can't think what I was going to say. Yeah, so I got 4 of these just to make sure I've got enough, and then whatever's left, be nice little scarves for teddy bears, or go in my memories blanket if I ever start that. But are you ready? Let's just bring in the inspo. Here is my inspo. I took a picture of it and had it on my phone. Megan was so lovely and really encouraging, just like Nick was last year, and very competent. I'm sure she will continue to blossom and grow in that role. You saw a little bit of footage of Jeff. Oh, Jeff is such a lovely little boy. Yeah, we didn't see much of Nick. I don't think he's been very well. Anyway, are you ready? Do a drum roll. Are you all doing a drum roll? Ammo, I'm counting on you. Are you doing a drum roll? This is my colour. Love it. Really love it. So it's got the blues and the yellows, orange, bluey, yellow, orangey going on that you can see here and down the bottom. I quite like the olive, which is going on here. And then to pick up on the red, which I really liked, we've got some red speckles, and we've also got some chocolate brown speckles. So I'm not going to be doing anything with this until next year at the very earliest. But what would you do with a single skein? Would you maybe mix it with something else? I don't know. I'm really into garment knitting rather than accessory knitting at the moment. And obviously with just one skein, I can't do a garment. But I love it. I love it. And I love everybody else's colours. Beautiful. The whole lot goes so well together. Anyway, I've kept you an absolute age. I'm going to clear up all this mess that's on the floor. The cat's made herself a little nest. And I will be back with another Woolly Wednesday. I can't believe I'm on episode 5 already. I'll be back with episode 6 of Woolly Wednesday next week. I wonder how much of Amelia the duck will be done by next week. Take a bet. Leave a comment. Do you think I'll have her arms and legs done and her body as well? Who knows? Bye now. Whatever you're working on, put love into every stitch. Bye.